Yes, welcome to Let's Talk Nigeria on 97.5 Golden FM Yenagoa. We are the gold standard of radio. My name is Moya Steve. This morning, I want to look at the reactions of Nigerians to the mass failure in the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. You know, a lot of people are very uncomfortable with what happened, and of course, some have even taken the board. I mean, the Joint Matriculation Board to court already. And you already know that the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME) in Nigeria has sparked widespread outrage and concern among Nigerians, educators, and policymakers, with over 78% of the 1.96 million candidates failing to achieve the 200 mark threshold. The results have been described as a reflection of systemic failures in the nation's education sector. Now, many parents and candidates have taken to social media to express their dissatisfaction. Reports of technical glitches such as computer malfunctions and power outages during the examination have been cited as significant factors contributing to the poor performance. You know, one parent even shared that her son's system shut down midway through the exam, leading to a score of 233, while another lamented her daughter's score of 251, attributing it to system failures. You know, and even recently, on the social media, netizens have pointed to the influence of social media as a contributing factor to the poor performance. Even an ex-user shared that prohibiting his sister from using platforms like TikTok during her exam preparations led to improved focus and performance, suggesting that digital distractions may be impacting students' academic success. Now, in all of this, you know, the House of Representatives announced plans to investigate the technical errors that led to the mass failure, and even the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, led by Professor Ishaq Oloyede, has admitted that technical glitches affected about 157 centers, leading to disruptions and delays during the examination. Now, in all of this, there are some successes. You know, in spite of all of this failure, there are some successes. And here in Bayelsa State, we need to celebrate our own. It's very important that we celebrate success in as much as we also condemn failure. But no, we don't condemn failure completely. We rather encourage you to even do better, because it is from failure you achieve success. That's the truth. So when you fail, doesn't mean that's the end of the world, all right? So those who even go as far as taking their lives, well, let them, you know, rest in peace, and we condole with the families, actually. But that is not the end of the world. Failure begets success. That's for sure. But in the course of all of this, we hope to, here at Golden FM as well, on Let's Talk Nigeria, we hope to celebrate some of ours. Here in Bayelsa State, a lot of people keep saying, well, Bayelsa, education in the backward state and all of that. But we know that we have outstanding individuals emanating from this state. And ladies and gentlemen, I here want to announce to you, or to, you know, to inform you that we have in the studio with us to share his experience and, you know, to talk to us about the UTME as well, and, you know, what led to the success. Of course, God is at the end of the day, but, you know, we have here with us in the studio the best performing student or individual here in Bayelsa State, scoring a score of 360 points. Yes, in the just concluded UTME, in 2025 UTME. His name, Osovie Egba. He's here with us in the studio with his own father, Mr. Diekime Egba. Good morning to you, gentlemen.
Good morning, doctor.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Very so happy to meet you. You know, when I saw all of when I saw the news on the internet, I was like, okay, this is a young man that we need to bring in to motivate and inspire other young people. Well, let's start. Let me start from the what? Let me start with you, Osovie. When you saw your score the first time, How did you feel? How did you feel at that point with all of the noise and outcry about the mass failure?
Well, before they actually released the results, right? They actually published the statistical analysis of, the performance of all the candidates, and fifth, it was bad actually. So when I saw it, I was already afraid because how is it that like point something percent, that's 0 point something percent of the candidates that actually registered for the UTME this year actually got above 300. So I was already very, very, very afraid. And I was like, would my name even be part of there? And in fact, before they even released the results, I'd already like checked my result like 5 times, just wasted my credit. I was that anxious actually. So it was in the morning. I did it. I woke up. I just decided, let me just try one more time because, they told me the night before that the results would be officially released that, tomorrow. So I went on my phone, I checked the results, and I saw the score. And then I said, no, let me just check like one more time.
Yeah,
And then when I saw, I was like, wow, this is real. So I ran to my mom. I told her, she hugged me, she congratulated me, and then yeah, I was what
So
it was like.
can you tell Bielsa and Nigeria the actual score because it came from me? So let's hear from you.
Okay. I scored 360 out of 400 in the examination.
Interesting. This is well. Congratulations once again to you. It's a very big feat. But we're here this morning to talk about the jam, the UATM. Some of your colleagues also, went through this. We're not successful. In some other centers, about 157 had glitches. But we want to start from the very beginning, the whole experience. But before we come to you to talk about the experience, let's talk from let's get the pulse of your father here, Mr. Diekime Egba. How do you feel? In fact, right now in the studio, how do you feel? You feel cool and chill?
Honestly, I feel very, very elated because it is not easy to train up a child to be so outstanding when it comes to academics. I am very much I'm particularly really impressed with him because this is one child that has really lifted me in the eyes of my colleagues. Academically, for the past 5 years, he had always been at the top. They just concluded Nigerian Local Content NTA Science Quiz Competition. He, alongside 2 others, represented Best Breed International Secondary School, and they came first. There is an award that was even presented to him by the Local Content. The mock, which was like a testing platform for the JAMB itself, he did exceedingly well. He made about 290 or thereabout. Can you confirm it, please?
No, I actually scored 349 in the mock examination.
In the mock. So for me, I was not even scared.
So
I said,
he just did extra,
Yeah.
add more points to that.
yeah, so I was not bothered, but I said something. I want to see your result. Even when they said the result has been released and the mother was saying, I hope he will do very well, I said, no, I don't want to make any comment until I see your result. He came out of the exam hall and said that I'm sure I'm going to perform exceedingly well. I said, look, don't be too confident until you cited your result because I know how this thing works. Sometimes you come out of exam hall feeling dejected. But when you see your result, you say, how come? So for me as a father, I am really, really impressed. And I actually want to also commend the school, the Best Breed International Academy. They did very well.
Well, we are not here to, promote the school. You have to come in here and do some little commercial thing. But all the same, I know you were so excited, and there is no way we could have brought the boy to the studio without you here to, feel that impact. But let's come back to you, the boy, Osieovie. This achievement is also a very good one for Bielsa State. It's a good one. While we'll talk about failures, we talk about successes as well.
Yes.
And that's what we want to do, especially dedicated to discuss the successes. So let's talk about the journey. How is it like? A lot of people complain about the examination, the way that's being conducted, the timings, and all of that. You just want to give us your little experience, the journey to the examination and after the exam and all of that. So just talk to us about it.
All right, so let me start from the registration. So yeah, when before I even wanted to register, when the processes involved in the registration, it was actually very tedious. You know, because my mom, she was able to help me to register first. I was one of the first to actually register, in the place I went to. But there were some people out there, they were actually like outside the gates for hours since morning, just waiting. And then I looked at this and I told myself, just registering for this exam alone is such a tedious process. And then preparing for the exam is even more tedious. And I told myself, there is no way I am coming back next year to write this examination. So that was another thing that pushed me, because the entire registration process, it was so stressful. It was really stressful, because around that period, there was also a rumor going around that if you're not up to 18, if you're not up to 16, so many different things. There were some people that they were born October this year. They're going to turn 16 October this year. They were given underage form, and they didn't,
How
meet
old
up.
are you anyway?
I'm 16 years old, so I
okay.
wasn't, underage.
Okay.
And then, if they didn't perform, they wouldn't even see their results and everything. So I told myself, there is no way I'm going back to write this exam. So the registration process, it was stressful, but at least we finished that and we got it out of the way. So, next thing was preparation. So, for the JAM examination, I actually started preparing immediately I got to SHS 3, because I told myself I have to get, my goal was even to get the highest score in the whole country. That was
Interesting.
That was my goal. So I started preparing. I prepared, and I read a lot. Actually, I read a lot. I practiced past questions. I read my books. Most people, they always emphasize on the use of past questions, and I 100% agree. But I also believe that you should actually open your book, and you should actually understand and read what they told you to read, because I looked at, when I was in the exam hall, I saw some questions there. They obviously tried to twist it, and I was like, nah, I understand these things. I understand. They tried. It was actually, I just laughed, because it was clear they were trying to confuse me, but I knew I was able to discern it by the grace of God. And that can only work when you have God's grace, and when you also understand the material to a deeper level. So in as much as you're going through your past questions, very, very important, you should also understand the material, understand it very early, and early preparation is the key. I started in SHS 3, but actually, it was SHS 3 I started intense preparation. SHS 1 and SHS 2, I was already a serious student, so it was like the only thing I had to do was just finish the syllabus. But my SHS 1 and SHS 2 was strong, because I was already serious. So I had residual knowledge built up on it from the past questions and all. So,
Yeah. And then we'll talk about the exam proper. The your center, was there any challenge at all? Because a lot of people say some challenges, like some parents said they scored about 200 something because the system just shut out or something. And your center, and any experience like that, and where did you even take yours? Is it here in Yenagoa or outside Bayelsa State?
I took my UTME examination in Lynette Pole. Yeah, that's where I took the examination. And honestly, by the grace of God, there was no issues at all in my center. I just give glory to God, because honestly speaking, yes, I do agree. Some of my classmates, they told me they experienced technical glitches and all these things. It's just it's grace. I never experienced anything like that. So honestly, I give all the glory to God, because somebody that's very intelligent, you see their system just switching on and off, and it's not fair.
Yeah.
Then they end up not having enough time to answer the questions and all. But nothing like that happened to me. Some people even saw incomplete questions, and then the system would still score them with the maximum over 400, but they did not have the complete questions. But me, none of that. And when I heard of those rumors, I prayed about it, and none of that happened. So the morning was before the exam. I came there. I came very early. Arrived to your center very early. It's very important. So I came there with my parents. We waited for some time. Then the examination was about to start. I dressed modestly so that there is no disturbances or tell you to remove this or remove that. No jewelry. I got into the exam hall. I sat down. I waited for them. I listened to instructions. I did not touch anything, and then I began my examination.
The timing. Some people say they start at 6:30 and all of that. Let's talk about that. I mean, you want to help us out with that? I don't know.
No, I actually don't have
you don't know
any
much
idea
idea about
about
that. Just talk about the timing. Some say they had their paper at 5:30. I don't know. Is that true? Because I wasn't really following.
in my opinion, honestly, I strongly believe that the timing was like, let me give you a backstory.
Yeah, please.
In the mock examination, the JAM mock examination, we were told to come around 6:30 a.m. to write that examination. We ended up writing it around 3 p.m. 3 p.m. We were told to write it 6:30 a.m. We ended up writing it 3 p.m. But thankfully, that was, it was actually like an error. It didn't happen in the main examination. But in some centers, people that were scheduled to write 6:30 a.m. in the main UTME examination, they ended up writing around 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. So, but me,
AM or PM?
sorry, 9 a.m.
AM.
or 10 a.m.
I was
rather,
scared
sorry.
somehow.
Sorry about that. So, me personally, I was told to come there and write the exam 6:30 a.m. But I ended up writing it around 8 a.m. So yes, I think there was, didn't really start on
Accreditation?
time.
Was there no accreditation?
What do you mean by that?
Identifying you, screening
Yes,
you.
yes, of
Yeah,
course. There
you
was
know.
the biometrics, of course. They did do biometrics.
Biometrics. But do you think there are some places they took the exam at 6:30 because some parents were like, okay, yeah, the timing when they had to get to the venue and all of that, the examination has started before they arrived, and all of this fun. Even on X and social media, we see a lot of people, coming up with all of this kind of jokes. But do you have an idea? I know it didn't happen at your center, but do you have friends who had that experience by the time they arrived, the exam had already started?
Yes, some people that were scheduled to actually write in that morning and they did not. Sometimes there are some centers that actually obey that time. They listen to that time and they start on time. And then they end up like, just, because, other people were saying that, they came early and ended up waiting for hours. They, used that and came late to their center and then they met the gate closed and it was sad. So, yes,
Now, you scored 360. Do you know the top scorer this year? I mean, have you seen that on social media? I mean, you probably would have been playing with your phone and probably come across the top scorers. And yeah, do you know who they are and, something like that? Do you have an idea of who they are? And because your aim was to be on the top, but since you scored 360, you probably would have been looking out for others who probably scored below you or higher than you. You just want to find out who did.
Yes.
Do you know any one of them?
I've gone online, I've researched and everything. I don't know, the highest I've seen so far actually is 370. I don't know, I did not take note of the boy's name. It's a boy too.
Yeah.
Well, that's the highest I've seen so far.
37, they're just about 10 points ahead.
Just about 10.
Just a little. Anyway, we're here in case you're just tuning. This is Let's Talk Nigeria. Today we are looking at successes. Yes, in the just concluded 2025 UTME. And here in Bayelsa State, we have the top scorer, 360. His name is Osiovie Egba. He's here with us, talking to us about his experiences. We'll have a lot more to talk about, but we want to open the phone line, to calling if there is anything you want to say, because he's here more as like, let's say, a motivator, someone who's going to inspire other people. I just wish it's not a school day where kids who are listening to the radio right now were listening to you and say, hey, but then if you have a word for him, you want to congratulate, you want to celebrate him, because it's good to celebrate ourselves. And make sure you remain, you remain cool, you know what I'm saying?
Of course,
The
of
success shouldn't make you, that way.
No,
You just keep you
never.
level-headed and all of that. But let's get some calls right now. Good morning to you. Welcome to the show.
Hello, good morning, Ikemori.
Good morning.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Well, it's so interesting. They said success has many friends, failure doesn't have. But that is on a lighter note. I'm so impressed when I listen to, I can see the sense of commitment by that lad. I say lad because by the age he's so that young. And he's also impressed by the dad. I can see some sense of responsibility by the dad and humility. I see the way the boy sounding. He was very serious at his SS3 or whatever. GS3, sorry. Then so you can see that seriousness and commitment. That is what kept him to that point. When I get the 360 at the media, social media, I felt it's someone outside. I never knew Bielsa also at that score. I was just impressed, I'm sitting down over here. I'm just very impressed with the boy. The boy is that good, but the only thing I will ask before I drop, I don't know, because I saw a kind of group that, voluntary said they want to, support, a kind of fund they raise to support those persons that got 300 and above. I don't know if probably they may have the interest to enroll in that kind of beneficial idea that this other group that is trying to institute. So that is the only thing I want to know. Thank you.
All right, thank you, IE, for that. And of course, when you call, to congratulate him and also, talk some words, some kind words, and we do appreciate you for, dropping your kind words. More calls are coming right now, but let me just read the numbers out for you. 0707-747-1522, 0912-000-1975. It's about celebration. It's about congratulations, felicitations. Good morning.
Good morning, Stephen.
Thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Mr. Egba and Master Egba.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. My name is Samson Bonny from Opurumatan.
Thanks for joining us.
Nice
I'm
to hear
really
from you.
impressed. I'm really impressed to hear things like this.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
It's a welcome development.
Thank you, sir.
During his age, 16 years, I hope if I'm not mistaken, that is what he
16.
said.
Yes,
16 years.
16.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. I can flash back during my days when I sat for JAMB. I scored 172. So hearing somebody scoring 360, my brother, you are a first-class product.
Amen.
You are going to come out with a flying colors in your academics.
Amen.
Just
Thank you,
prepare
sir.
yourself towards that. You are making first class. Nothing will differentiate you from that.
Thank you.
sir.
Because
As for Daddy, as for Mr. Egba,
thank you,
please
sir.
keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. You
Thank
have
you,
done very well in your aspects
Thank
for
you.
bringing a child in this manner. You have done a good work. Kudos
Thank
to
you.
your wife too.
Thank
You
you.
guys have done a good job. Thank you very much.
We are grateful.
Thank you. Thank you very much for those kind words. 0707-747-1522. 091-2019 75. All right. Yes. Let's get that call now. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Emmanuel. I'm calling from Ondo.
Emmanuel, thanks for joining us.
Yes, when the boy started to talk, I was like, how old could this person be? And then, when somebody is intelligent, he can sound even like an asshole. I'm very happy. I just feel like the boy is my own son.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You wouldn't understand how the father is feeling right now in the studio.
Really honored.
Yeah, so it's very good. Although I have sons, I wish that they also turn out this good, because, with commitment, I always believe that with commitment, determination, and very hard work, with natural intelligence, children can do wonders. I believe it. Although this does not mean that the JAMB people did well. So let them do well so that next time, overall, it will benefit. I want to say thank you to the father, the mother too. That this is an example of a committed father. Not if I'm a father and then I'm not involved kind of father. If the father is not involved, this may not be possible like this. So fathers too should be very, very involved like this. Mr. Egba has done. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Now, before we come to OCOVA, let's take a look at some information we are getting right now. The University of Ilorin, Nigeria, has written to the registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board. And they are saying that, I'm going to read it out. They said, we hereby write to appreciate you on how the developments of the 2025 tertiary unified tertiary matriculation examination was handled by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board under your leadership. And of course, the apology he rendered is exactly what you're trying to say, that he showed high level of leadership and responsibility. But we'll come back to that. Let's take this call. Good morning.
Good morning, Moye.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Your name, please.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Egba.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Master.
Good morning, ma.
Yeah, this is the voice of Eddie Charles. I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy for him.
Thank you.
I'm super elated. You guys have done well. And to me, I feel he's already a first-class citizen, and he's going to make it.
Amen.
Nothing will stop him. Just push on and make sure he doesn't deviate from the right track.
That is it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you very much, JB Charles, for that. And of course, you know, we're live on social media right now. We're streaming live. So you can go on Facebook, 97.5 Golding FM Yanagoa. Just go there, like the page, subscribe, and follow what we're doing right here in the studio. You can see the lovely faces of Mr. DKVA Egba, who's smiling, profusely. Can't help himself. And of course, Master Osiovier Egba. You can see all of us right here in the studio. So if you want to follow and drop comments, just follow us on the conversation. Why don't you go there and follow the stream? All right. But let's look at what's going on right now. It's a human rights lawyer, Evans Ufeli, has filed a 10 billion naira suit against JAMB and the Minister of Education over what he described as widespread irregularities and technical failures that allegedly marred the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. Now, we are trying to give all of this information to tell you how people are really, really upset about the situation. But in spite of all this, we still have to celebrate those who are worth celebrated. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. and Master Edgar.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, yesterday I talked about you guys while I was on the radio. I'm happy to hear that you guys are on the studio today.
Thank
I was
you.
driving when I heard your announcement to the platform. First, I want to say congratulations. My name is Honorable Sonny Perry.
Thanks for joining us, Sonny Perry.
I want to say congratulations. You did good. You made us proud. I know very well that a child of a Bayelsa is a bright star, is a bright morning star. I have the conviction in me that whenever a son of a Bayelsa or a daughter of Bayelsa State goes outside, is going to be successful. And I'm seeing that success in you. It is determination that means success. You understand?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you should keep the tempo on. I want you to keep the tempo on and make Bayelsa State proud and make the Ijaw Nation proud and make your family proud. I want you to always remember this day, that someday, even when you get to the shores of this country, that your people are expecting you to be successful, to be back home. And one thing I want to tell you, no matter the peer group influence, stay away from drugs.
Yes, ma'am.
No matter the peer group influence, stay away from youthful exuberance.
Yes,
Be
ma'am.
focused, be determined, be decisive in your decision towards success. I wish you all the best.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Oh, thank you very much for this wonderful counsel.
Yes, of course. We have to celebrate ourselves. And I know when you grow older, you will not forget how we celebrated you here today. It's always going to remember in your memories. Okay, so let's come to you a little bit before I go on to read some reactions by Nigerians. A lot of funny reactions, though. But let's get to hear from you directly. You scored 360. You began at university. I don't know the university of your choice. That's none of our business at the moment, but what are you looking at, studying, with this wonderful score?
Well, I want to study medicine and surgery. That's what I want to study. I want to become a medical doctor.
Medical doctor. Again, because I see something like a consultant neurologist. I don't know what that is, but
Yes. I want to be a neurologist.
neurologist. So what's that? What's that? Can you want to break it down for everybody to know about it?
Essentially, a neurologist, he deals with the brain.
Brain.
Yes.
Interesting. And someone with our score would definitely want to go for that. Very, very critical stuff. Okay, so let's come to your father. You were a lawyer by profession. I don't know. I feel you have a couple of pieces of advice for the educational system. We're talking about your son now, do pretty well, but let's look at Bayelsa State. what word do you want to give, for instance, in the education, well, public and private schools, actually? So what would be your words to the Ministry of Education, the kind of things they need to do in order for us to produce more of this kind that we are talking about and celebrating here in the studio?
All right. For me, I think the government need to invest more in education. The word goes that once you are educated, you are already wealthy. Bayelsa today, we are faced with a scourge that is really threatening the future of our young ones. And it is the scourge of cultism and drug. In the past 2 weeks, we have recorded over 10 deaths within Yenagoa metropolis, and that is not good for the future of our youths. So I really want the government of Bayelsa State, through the Ministry of Education, to effectively collaborate with the Nigerian drug law enforcement agencies to clamp down on all these drug selling outlets. Once that is addressed, then we start looking at improving the quality of our educational system. The classroom where our students, our children study, in most areas is really pathetic. Though in Yenagoa metropolis, the government have done credibly well, but we expect more to be done. And also the quality of teachers. Government need to do something about it. Though I understand recently there was a recruitment exercise. I've not really taken time to know how good is the process. But these are possible areas through which government can improve on our educational system. We want the government of Bayelsa State to build more schools, recruit more teachers, and improve on teachers' welfare. When you hear people say the teachers get their benefits, there's a way they put it, I can't really recall it, but it's not healthy. Let teachers really be appreciated, be compensated. Let their welfare be improved so that when a teacher is coming to class in the morning, he is happy. Not a teacher that is coming to class is angry. Whatever the pupils or the students do, you nod at it and you go whether it is correct or not. So we want government to look at this issue and possibly pull it completely out of the local government administration. Let the State Ministry of Education deal directly with the issues that borders on teachers' welfare. These are the areas I think we can improve on our educational system.
Thank you, sir, for that. Those words, yeah, very important. But let's take a look at what is going on right now. Here on the Daily Post, we have this a lecturer in the Department of Political Science in Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, Christian Okeke, has urged the registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, to go beyond weeping over his incompetence and tender his immediate resignation. Okeke made this call after the board admitted that there were technical glitches in its last outing. Nigerians are coming really hard on Professor Oloyede. But what's going to be your response to this, Mr. Egbal?
And I think they are taking it too far. In advanced climb, I will agree, when issues like this happen, the most honorable thing for you to do is to take a bow. Nigeria, we are growing. In time past, you will never see a political leader coming publicly to admit, even when they know they are wrong in their decision. It has never happened. For the management of JAM to come out publicly and apologize to Nigerians and even create another platform, an opportunity for these students to come back and rewrite this exam, I think it is enough for us to appreciate. If every other leaders will admit when they are wrong and apologize to this country, we will go to the next level. And from there, we will be able to build a culture where when you misbehave, or even if you don't misbehave, when you falter in the course of discharging your duty, Nigerians can comfortably demand that you resign. If we insist and Oloyede is forced to step down, I can assure you that tomorrow no leader will come out publicly to admit even when they are wrong. Everybody will stand by their position and say, look, we have given you whatever that is the outcome, it is a reflection of what you have offered. And that will be another setback for us. In the instance, Oloyede has set an example for every other political leader to emulate. In the course of discharging your duty, if you err, or even if you are not directly responsible, but because you are the leader and you take responsibility, you should have the courage to come out and tell Nigerians, I am sorry for what happened, and see how you can remediate it. He has already set the template. I understand on the 18th of May, this same exam, it may even be the same question, but they will twist it. This same exam will be presented for all those affected. Of course, it is not all Nigerians. It is only some places in Lagos and the southeast. South, southwest, and the entire north is not affected. So it is less than 35% of the population of students that are affected. So let them go back and rewrite this exam. We know it is an unfortunate situation, but it will at least remediate those that are alive to write this exam. It will give them a platform to re-exert themselves. Presently, a good number of students that were not even prepared for the exam are taking advantage of this to justify whatever they have gotten, which is normal. But I think Oloyede has done the best thing. In fact, what he did is one of the best things that has ever happened to us. Let us commend him and urge other political leaders who, in the course of discharging their responsibilities, may have encountered some difficulties or failures. They should come out, apologize to those affected, and we take it up from there.
That's great. Look at this one. Before I come to Sophia, look, this particular comment by a popular social media influencer, Dana Rega. He said, call it what you want, but the JAMB UTME result glitches seems like a deliberate act for whatever reason. The fact that the southeast states were majorly affected raises questions. If this affected states from different regions, the glitch excuse would have been sellable. But the fact that southeast states, all the 5 southeast states were affected, he said there is something fishy about it. Do you subscribe to this statement?
Well, I don't think. What does Oloyede stand to benefit? That is the question. What does Oloyede stand to benefit? Besides, JAMB has a standard, and there is also the policy of catchment areas. Even if you score 50, if the entire students from the Southeast geopolitical zone scores below 100, the institutions within the Southeast will definitely lower it to ensure that they fill the spaces that are allocated to these institutions. Okay, it is only if those that have applied to study in other institutions outside the Southeast, they will still have an opportunity in the receipt that JAMB is preparing. So I think we should not play politics with it. The Southeast, particularly those that are commenting, are beginning to introduce politics into it. But I want to believe that Oloyede stands nothing in particular to benefit by depriving the Southeast students from participating in this exam. Sometimes we should even hold the centers responsible for it. The kind of computers that are being used may be responsible, not directly JAMB. But because Oloyede is the head of JAMB, he had to assume that responsibility. So Oloyede does not have anything very particular to benefit from frustrating. Of course, he had been on the saddle for some years now. So if this one occurrence will use it to judge him, then I think we'll be taking it too hard on him. So that is just my simple opinion on this.
That's great. Now, you were right, Sylvia, that the Nigerian student who took the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, who scored 370, you were right about that. He is Afolabi Olumide Ayodeji. Actually, he's a student of the Icon Comprehensive College, Akure. So that was the guy who scored 370. Yes, all of you are high flyers, and congratulations to every one of you. We're about rounding off this session, but if you still have a little thing to say to our high flyer here in the studio, Osiova Egba, It's not actually a tongue twister, but I'm trying to make it a tongue twister. Osiovier. Please help me out with that.
Osiovier.
Osiovier.
Egba.
Egba. I know it's Bayelsa, but what part of Bayelsa state are you from?
Fangbe precise.
Interesting. Interesting. Yes. Congratulations to Fangbe people. Okay, so yeah, if you want to say a word or two, congratulations. Just call us up right now, 0707-747-1522, 091-2000. 1975, or perhaps you want to do a text, no problem, 0805-327-7767, and let's just round off and have a great time. Now before we go, so here you are going to help us out. I mean, a lot of children are in school right now, but whatever thing you're going to say here is going to resonate. I know the parents would take these words of yours to their children at home, because you are now a role model to a lot of Bayelsans who will be taking the exam this year or retaking or next year. At least we have somebody who made us proud. But let's take this call now. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, this is the people in the house.
Thank you so much. What's your name?
I'm Joseph calling from Emengi Road.
Joseph, thanks for joining us. Go ahead and say what you want to say.
I just want to say we are proud of you. You see, these are the kind of youth we are expecting from our area, because they labeled as militants, people who don't take education serious. But having this kind of scores and from this region, these are kind of things that we need to, spread. People know that we also have very intelligent people in our region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Indeed, we are blessed. We have very intelligent people around. And so when we get this kind of stories or with this kind of situations, we can't help but to talk about it. It's not every time we talk about, cultism, killing here and there. When we hear good stuff, we talk about the good stuff. And that's why, we had to make the effort to bring the good stuff right here to serve as motivation to other people, that good things can also happen to Bayelsa. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you so much.
I'm calling from Opolo.
From Apollo. Your name again, sorry?
Peter.
Peter, thanks for joining us. Peter, go ahead.
I just want to congratulate the young man in the studio.
Thank
You have done very well.
Thank you
But
very
the
much.
message goes to Nigerians. People that say they should kill their officials. That is not, the man should not be killed. I don't remember when last somebody from Nigeria in Nigeria stand up to say he was very sorry. Nobody, even when somebody introduced something, a whole 200 million people suffer, nobody has said, I'm sorry. Even when somebody got a Ethiopian plane to give to distribute people in Nigeria, nobody has said, I'm sorry. Even when were eating money, nobody has even stand up to say, I am sorry. Now somebody said the river and whatever to somebody, we want to kill him. That man is not a Nigerian. You should tell him that in Nigeria, you say, I am sorry. Because it is not. Even when INEC is conducting whatever they are conducting, we all know that they give us wrong result. Nobody has ever said, I'm sorry. So you should invite the man and say, next time, don't say, I am sorry again. So that's I want to learn it at that point. Thank you. We want to kill the person, I'm sorry. That's all.
All right, thank you. That's quite funny the other way. Yeah, well, we'll keep telling you, it's a good virtue. Sorry seems to be the hardest word, but it's a good virtue that we imbibe that. And for me, I say Professor Ishak Oloyede is a hero. He's
A hero.
He's a good man.
Yes.
He's a good man. He's done what many Nigerians will not do. They rather say, there's nothing I can do. The exam has been conducted, and they can't even lie. Then there was nothing wrong with the system. They just bury it.
That's
But
it.
but he was able to come out to say, you know what, we've just done it, and we apologize. So I think he's the hero of the day. No matter what, even if at the end of the day he's no more, we will remember that there was once a man who took responsibility
For his actions.
Exactly. So yeah, we want to go now, but let's come to Osiovier. I want to. You heard all the people saying, speaking to you, congratulating you, wishing you all the best. Yes, we want to have. Just recently I saw a news that the son to Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, what's his name again? Something Iweala. He broke the record in the United States. The first doctor who was able to perform some kind of surgery, spinal cord surgery, using a robot. So he did that. And the first person to do that is a Nigerian. Wow. He's from Abia Imo State, I think one of the states there. Wow. And that's it. And so we don't mind. We don't mind that we could have someone like that in Bayelsa State as well. And since you want to become a neurosurgeon, wow, that's a big one. But what is going to be your parting shots, even as you're going to be stepping out of the studio this morning?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone that called. I'm really grateful for your kind words, and I'm very, very grateful. So my final words, first of all, JAMB, they're planning on making some of you that had the technical glitches and error to come and rewrite the exam again. And then some of you that weren't affected, maybe you didn't meet the cutoff mark or some issues thereabout, so you're planning on writing again next year. All I'll tell you is this, you chose your subject combination for a reason. You have a dream, you have a goal, and I do not believe that there's anybody here that does not deserve to achieve their dream or to achieve their goal. You shouldn't let JAMB tell you, you said you wanted to study medicine and then you study another course, or you said you wanted to study law and you study another course. Do not let JAMB decide your fate. God decides your fate, and God will never ever let you get score below your expectation. So JAMB is just a procedure. It does not define you. It doesn't determine your fate. I've seen there are cases of people that wrote JAMB 5-6 times. Before they gained admission to study medicine, and then they've graduated with first class. Yeah. So I do not think some of you just wrote once this year, and then maybe you didn't score high, and then you're already taken aback. You already want to give up. Maybe you don't even care anymore. If you know that if you study this course that your university has given you, you're not going to be happy at all, then my advice to you is to try again and do not give up. Do not give up.
That's right. Thank you so much, Sylvia Egba, for that. Once again, I want to say congratulations to you. And as far as I'm concerned, you are an inspiration to Bayelsans. Just keep it up and keep your heads up, but be humble. That's the word.
Of course.
Humility, a great virtue. But thank you so much, Mr. Diekime.
Thank you, Doctor,
for making it to the studio. Even on short notice, you were able to respond. It was a good thing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And hopefully you'll be coming in to do some analysis. I can see that you could do a great deal of it. So once in a while, you'll be getting calls from me, all right?
I will endeavor. whenever I am called upon, I will endeavor.
Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for keeping it locked with me right here in the studio on Let's Talk Nigeria. Today on Let's Talk Nigeria, we made a very special one, celebrating ours. And of course, I believe you enjoyed every beat of it. Happy weekend, and thank God it's Friday. Make sure you don't look for trouble, because we here, we keep it very standard, golden standard of the radio. My name once again is Moye Steven. Have a lovely day.
Hits 24/7. Only on 97.5 Golden FM. Shining brighter than ever.